Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Habakkuk. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of great millstone and rule well, one learn the truth. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. News in the gospel brought, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. Lord, it's really be edifying. This article came out roughly June 17th, and currently today is June 19th, Juneteenth, as they like to call it, which we're still here. We're not free. For all you jakes out there that seem to believe that Juneteenth gave you some type of miraculous liberation from your oppressors, then, you're in the wrong spirit, to say the least. But anyway, it says Senate passes landmark crypto regulation bill on a bipartisan vote, sending it to the House. Okay. It says the 68-30 vote on the Genius Act was the first time that the Senate has passed a major legislation to regulate digital assets. Hence, a digital society, a digital currency. All right. We've been speaking on the coming digital society or the digital currency for some time, which will be the paradigm to aid in the MOTB, because as you're noticing that they're getting these particular corporations off the ground. You got Palantir, you got what is it called? BlackRock, you got Vanguard, which is pretty much, they hold over 500, they hold over 10 something trillion dollars in assets, which make them one of the wealthiest corporations or establishments on the planet. All right, as BlackRock and Vanguard have their hand in some of everything. All right, then you have what they call Stargate, which is in tandem with this Palantir ordeal to get the digital systems up and running. So eventually you're going to start to see the more failure of banks. All right, the more collapse of what is society, because they want to do away with the current system and they want to bring about a new digital system, which puts everything under a scopeo or a grid. So we're going to see that these old systems are going to phase out, as we're seeing, like the elites mentioned back in 2023. Well, at the WEF, the World Economic Forum, they mentioned about polycrisis. So everything that you're seeing happening in the country and around the world, as far as the wars and so forth, is a mere distraction, so they can go ahead and switch off these old assets, so to speak. So it says here, after weeks and stops and starts, Senate Republicans teamed up with the bloc of Democrats on Tuesday to pass a landmark cryptocurrency bill that would establish the first regulatory framework for issuers of stable coins. Okay, so Bitcoin, stable coins, pretty much around the same ordeal, right? It deals with blockchains, man, all right, and digital assets, because they want to get you mentally acclimated to deal with things that's not tangible. So it says the vote on Genius Act was a 68-30, with 18 Democrats joining most Republicans in favor. Just 2 Republicans, Rand Paul of Kentucky and Josh Hawley of Missouri, voted against it. It says the vote, which shows that there's nothing, that's a division here. But even among the divisiveness of the Democratic and the Republican parties, they agree on a lot of the same things, man. And a major thing they agree on is outing you tribes. It says the vote for the first time that the Senate has passed major legislation regulating digital assets. Quote, it says, with this bill, the United States is one step closer to becoming a global leader in crypto. Senator Bill Hagerty, Republican of Tennessee, it says the author of the Genesis Act, said in a floor speech. It says this bill will cement the U.S. dollar dominance and will protect its customers and will drive demand for U.S. Treasury. So it's basically a currency war, too, because you got BRICS as well that's trying to find out how to establish themselves outside of the dominance of the dollar. All right. And a lot of these bills, they pass secretly, man, because the people, they're not coming together and vote on this. OK, this is supposed to be stuff that the people vote on and that they aspire to regulate through their particular means of beneficiaries, man. But instead, Esau, what he comes in secret and he pretty much go over the people's head and he sign these into law. And this is hence the society you live in, because here it says Congress quietly advances crypto bill as the world was distracted by chaos. All right. It says on June 12th, While headlines focus on chaos in the streets and the Israeli strikes on Iran, the U.S. Senate voted to advance the Genius Act, a bill that could radically change how the money works in America. And remember, with those Doge cuts, and remember the big beautiful bill, a lot of those cuts are going to be permanent. Like a lot of these programs that was defunded, a lot of it is just it's done away with. It's not coming back. But it says the bill will legalize and regulate stablecoins, digital tokens tied to the US dollar, but issued by private companies, not the government. So private corporations. Okay, as we always say, you have a handful of NGOs, which stands for non-governmental organizations. They sit back and they dictate the laws and delicacies over your lives, man. Because these are not elected officials like what's this guy's name? Alex Karp. Okay, you got the dude that's over I always forget his name, but the guy that's over PayPal. I always forget the devil's name, but Peter Thiel. You know, these are not elected officials, but yet they have a big role of an influence that impact people's lives every single day. You know, like Fauci and the Swabs and these leaders. What's this new guy over the looks like another James Bond villain, but the guy that was the CEO of Nestle, he's now the head of the WEF. The dude with one eye, look like Dr. No or some shit. Hey, you got men like that set up there and regulate affairs over your lives, man. And you wonder why you don't know what the hell is going on. But it says here, if passed, this means tech firms and financial giants could issue their own dollars. People may hold money in apps or digital wallets instead of banks. Physical cash could be slowly become obsolete, and big tech and crypto billionaires could gain massive control over how we spend and store money. Yeah, okay, because it's all about control. All right, gradualism here. But as stable coins become widely used, people might hold a digital tokens instead of dollars in a bank account, reducing reliance on traditional banks, which a lot of these banks are getting ready to go offline because they want to give everything into a one government, a one order. It says this gives more power to tech companies, crypto firms, or fintechs to manage what people think of as money. And we're not even dealing with real money now, you know. But it says this bill could be a turning point in the U.S. monetary history, opening the door for regulated private digital money to exist alongside or even rival cash and traditional bank accounts. It says if passed, the way people store, move, and use money could change in the next few years. Okay, so it's all about control. You know, this is why we've been telling you people, man, that this MOTB, this is gonna be the way of the world, man. Because it says the vote was the first time the Senate has passed major legislation regulating digital assets. Did I read that already? Yeah, I read that, I think. But it says today will be remembered as an inflection point for the innovation of the United States of America. But the Genius Act now heads to the Republican-led House, which has been working to pass it down bipartisan bill focused on creating a regulatory framework for digital assets. It says Washington continues to wrestle with how best to regulate the fast-growing cryptocurrency industry, but Democrats have been divided over the issue, with some in partying pushing Congress to do more to rein in the industry they see as rife with conflicts of interest for President Donald Trump and his family. But the Senate Backing Committee passed an earlier version of the Genius Act in April, with backing from 5 Democrats, but Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, DNY, and Democrats, along with 2 Republicans, blocked the bill from advancing on the floor in May as they demanded stronger national security and anti-money laundering provisions. It says a group of bipartisan negotiators, Haggerty and Senator Cynthia Lumens and Mark Warner, Kristen Gillibrand, which all those are Amalekites, by the way, Angela Also Brooks, and Ruben Gallego, later struck a deal on changes to the bill that addressed the key sticking points for Democrats. Now, who the hell are these people, man? Okay, I never heard of no Kirsten Gillibrand, which she sounds like a small hat. And then you got Angela Also Brooks. Like, what kind of damn name is that? Mark Warner sounds familiar, and Cynthia Loomis, but who the hell are these people? Do the people even know where these people stand? Like, who the hell are these people? You know? So, yeah, this Esau plan, the most high of your life. And this is going to be the road to the MOTB. So this is the book of Psalms 52. And I'm gonna start at verses 1. It says, "Why boasted thou in thy mischief, O mighty men?" It says, "The goodness of the Most High endure continually." All right, why you boasting? Is the Most High is asking, because in Esau's feeble mind, he's like, "Look, we're gonna get this new world order up and running, no matter the cost." And it's sloppy, it's all over the place. It's totally it's not even transparent at all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they make it. I mean, they're being pretty transparent about it, but they're still within the realm of deceit. But it says, "Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness." So, matter of fact, no, it says, "Thy tongue devises mischiefs like a sharp razor working deceitfully." Yeah, because it's all shrouded in lies and deception. It says, "Thou lovest evil more than good, rather lying than to speak righteousness." Yeah, because a righteous world, we wouldn't have to deal with being constantly surveillanced, because it's all about surveillance state. Why? Because, say, the elites, they're being outed on the world stage. The whole world is coming up against them. And you had this guy by the name of Tucker Carlson. He was in an interview with this other devil that was talking about, well, we have to pledge allegiance or whatever the hell he was saying to the small hats. And Tucker Carlson said, "Okay, so what are you talking about? You talking about the state of Israel?" He said, "The nation of Israel." And he said, "Okay, are you talking?" He says, "The people of the Bible, actually the people in the land of day." So Tucker Carlson knows, he was basically hitting like, y'all ain't even the real people. Y'all not even Israelites. Like, why the fuck do we need to bow down to you when you've got that land? Like, they even mentioned the occupation of Israel. So when you occupying something, that means that you're not supposed to be there, or you're there for a temporary time. Like they say, you occupying your lease for 15 months. Okay, I'm just here until the lease is up. And if I sign another, I do. So it's nothing more but an occupation. They don't belong there. And Tucker Carlson was getting that dude, and he was tripping him up. And he was asking him, he said, "So, okay, in the book of Genesis, the Lord goes into the nation of Israel, blase, 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 right? All right." And then he was like, dude was like, "Well, we got to protect Israel, protect Israel." Tucker Carlson like, "Okay, are you talking about biblical Israel, or is biblical Israel the same as the state of Israel today?" And the dude, he couldn't say nothing. He didn't have no comeback. He just kept saying a bunch of loaded, empty statements. And that was that. And Tucker Carlson, man, he know what the hell is up, because he ran into the apostles. But it says, "Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. Likewise, the Most High shall likewise destroy thee forever, and he shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living." Yeah, because you're going to get taken out of that land, man. All right, that land does not belong to you at all. You're not the people of the Most High. You never was, and you never will be. And anybody that can't see it, well, that's on you. All right. Next precept, 2 Peter 1, and I'm going to start at verses 20. It says, "Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scriptures of any private interpretation." It says, "For the prophecy came not..." Hold on. Oh, Salakia 19. It says, 2 Peter 1 and 19. It says, "We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day done and the day star rises in your hearts," man. All right, but we have a more sure word of prophecy, because hence our elders and the apostles went down. We've been warning the world, and mainly our people, that this place is going to be destroyed. And before that, you're going to have a digital technocracy that's going to govern over the people for the time being. All right, you're going to have men that's not going to bow down to that mark, because the scriptures say, matter of fact, let's get that in Romans real quick. Book of Romans 11. And I'm going to start at verses 11 and... Yep, 11 and 4. It says, "But what says the power of the Most High to him? It says, I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so then, at this point, this present time, also there's a remnant according to the election of grace." So there's going to be a group of men that's going to warn about these things, and they're not going to bow down to it, even if it means being beheaded or put to death for the testimony of Yahweh Shai. And that will be some of us. Some of us are going to have to undergo that guillotine. And you know what? Hey, it is what it is at this point, because we understand the gravity of this truth, and what lies on the other side of us being faithful. So you know what? You got to be okay with that. If you're chosen or called to be a martyr, then hey, call Allah Yahweh Shema Shai. It's a beautiful thing. You know, we got to get out of the flesh. Like, it's going to hurt. Nobody wants to be beheaded or tortured, but, you know, it is what it is. Especially when the scriptures say that I decrease so Yahweh Shai may increase. It's about Yahweh Shai at the end of the day. Because remember, brothers, after this man goes down, you got to understand that this kingdom was never meant to be established forever. Like, bro, we're literally at the cusp of this man going down. Okay, it's been 200 plus years already, really 500 plus. You know, if you want to count, when Gad and Reuben and Issachar and so forth was taken down and shipped back to parts of Spain and so forth, and going back to 1507, that was well over 500 years. You know, so we're close to the end of this thing. This man doesn't have that long to go, and the fact that we're seeing these global systems are sprouting up overnight, that's the telltale sign that Yahweh Shai is at the door, man, and we getting ready to go home. So now you got to really lock in and understand that this is the time that it matters the most. You know, yeah, what you've done 10 years ago, it all counts, but this is the time now that you gotta get that second wind, man, because hey, this shit is moving. You know, don't hold the line, stay faithful, stay established, man. Don't get discouraged, because you're gonna have those attacks coming at you daily. You know, Revelation 20, and I'm gonna start at verses 3, and it says, "And cast him to the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more." It says, deceive the devil till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loose a little season. We're in that little season now. This is the little season that we're in, a little season. "And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of the Most High, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And he lived and reigned with Yahweh Shai 1,000 years," man, all right? So you got to understand Revelation 20 is a bunch of time skips, to, fro, and present. So it can be a little confusing because it makes it seem like, well, Yahweh Shai is going to reign 1,000 years and these heathens are going to come back and take us down. No, that's not what that's saying, man. Okay, you got to understand that when he got these visions, a lot of it was fragmented to be put into pieces, man. I mean, to put into a particular picture. So you have to understand how the Bible jumps around. And a lot of it was written that way to be a stumbling block into the heathen, because the scriptures say the righteous should understand, but the wicked should not understand. So that's why they can't get it. You see? But anyway, Revelation 6, matter of fact, I'm going to start Revelation 15, and I'm going to start at verses 2, and it says, "And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that have gotten a victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on a sea of glass, having harps of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And they sung the song of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, and a song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, O Lord Yahweh Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of the saints." All right. So anyway, I'm going to end it, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you will edify to the next lesson. Now, Mark, Chip, it's coming, man. Stay tuned. Shalom.